Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super episode review. Today we're going to talk about episode 84, Son Goku the Recruiter invites Krillin in number 18. I actually really enjoyed this video, and sorry for not covering the last two. It's been a busy couple weeks, but to be honest, there wasn't really much to cover in those aside from Bulma obviously giving birth to Bulla, but I kind of talked about that in the video I did where I basically switched my allegiances from Goku to Vegeta in terms of who my favorite Saiyan is. So I'm not going to dive too much into that. I just want to talk about this episode because, like I said, I really enjoyed this episode, and I know a lot of you guys did as well. It was so nice to see Krillin kind of gaining a bit of that respect back and kind of coming back into the mix as a strong character. Because at the end of the day, you know, being a human, and I'm sure you guys being a human too, you know, you're always rooting for Krillin, because why do humans have to always be so weak? You know what I mean? Why can't we be strong in these multiverses or these different things that we watch? Why can't a human be just as strong as a Saiyan? That would kind of be pretty cool too, you know? Kind of like One Punch Man being as strong as Goku, and we won't even get into that, but just saying, like, it's nice to see a human just not get his ass beat, being a human myself. And so when the episode, you know, kind of starts off and they're off and they're recruiting and they're gonna go get Krillin, you know, we see Krillin kind of like bouncing around, doing his police officer work and being super helpful. Like, that's why we love Krillin so much, because he's a super helpful and like, he's like the most helpful and thoughtful guy throughout the entire series out of all the characters. Like, Krillin is like the dude you want to be your best friend. And I feel like sometimes you forget that Krillin and Goku are best friends because we haven't seen Krillin, really that much of Krillin anymore. You know, it's almost like Vegeta is more of a friend to Goku lately than Krillin is, just because they're not really hanging out as much as they used to. But it was really nice to kind of get some of those flashbacks to when they were kids and kind of training together, and Krillin even back then saying, if you don't give it 100%, we're not friends anymore. That's the kind of cool stuff you want to see. And it was really interesting when they go to their house, and obviously 18's there, and they have their daughter there, and, you know, she kind of refers to the weight equipment, you know, if Krillin doesn't participate or put his body to use, because he's been training, obviously, that all that weight equipment is useless. And at the same time, I'm thinking, like, these guys can basically punch mountains and obliterate them. What is this weight equipment gonna do in the attic? Like, that is not enough equipment for someone like Krillin to be able to get a good workout. Like, he could probably do the whole stack on all those machines, or take all the weight he has in that room and literally, like, shoulder press it with one hand. Like, give me a break, you know? But anyways, we won't get into that because obviously, you know, it's meant to show you that he has been training. And I thought it was really cool for, you know, Gohan and Goku to want to test Krillin out first. Well, mostly Gohan. I think Goku always has a sixth sense about this kind of stuff where he can tell when someone's getting serious. But Gohan, you know, obviously worried because the universe could get destroyed if they lose. But at the same time, he doesn't want to see Krillin die in this tournament. He wants to make sure he can handle all these massive power levels. And what always made Krillin such a valuable part of the team is his ability to strategize. You know, if you're not like the head power guy, you got to kind of find your place somewhere, and strategy is where Krillin kind of fills in that gap. You don't necessarily have to be the strongest dude on the board in order to win in these tournaments, because there's rules, and as long as you can follow the rules, then you can win. And throughout the whole Dragon Ball series, you know, I found it so funny that Krillin's move, like, a lot of people were talking about the Solar Flare times 100 being like his crazy new move, but like, that was only half of it. That was only half of what he did. If you really pay attention, you know, and we see this especially in the Frieza saga when they're flying around, they're trying to get the Dragon Balls and be super sneaky. Like, Krillin's biggest thing is to keep the power level low and be undetected, you know, and we see that a lot from Krillin, where he's always got to kind of suppress his power level to be undetected so he can kind of be sneaky. Even when he was going to kill 18, you know, he was suppressing his power level so he could get close enough to push the button to kill her. And the Solar Flare times 1000 was a great move and all, but what made it so effective was, if you guys remember, Gohan saying, I can't tell where he is, I can't sense him. And Krillin was still moving with quite a bit of speed, going undetected, and then punched Gohan basically right in the face and took him out. And that's how he won the match, is he was able to get in there and infiltrate and take him out. So yeah, the Solar Flare, you know, it's a good move, you know, and a lot of times when it was being done throughout the Z series, you know, it's like a temporary, like, surprise thing, but what really made Krillin harness this move to be his own was his ability to really suppress his power level and then come at you because you can't see or sense him and just take you out. And I think a lot of people kind of missed the point of what they were showing. I thought that was really impressive, and I really liked that. And then obviously Goku wants a turn. Big Goku steps in, he wants a turn, and they go fight on top of Mr. Satan's building. And, you know, that match, too, you got to see Krillin's skill. And we also start to see that 18 clearly knows that Krillin has a few more moves up his sleeve, which is why she even stepped in. You know, I don't know if she stepped in because she was worried that Goku was going to kill him, because obviously he's in blue, Super Saiyan Blue, shooting a Kamehameha wave, which I don't even know how Krillin was able to hold that back at all. I don't know if Krillin pushed back on the Kamehameha wave with his, and 18 stopped the match because she knows the kind of person that Goku is, and that Goku would probably kick it up another notch and maybe get too carried away and obliterate Krillin by accident, which I don't think really Goku would do, but maybe 18 feared that, and that's why she stepped in, or maybe she stepped in because, who knows, maybe Krillin has a new level that we don't know about. Granted, he doesn't have any hair for a cool transformation, but he may have ascended, finally, the first human to ascend to like a new power level. I don't know, but there is a reason why she stepped in. And then I also thought it was really cool that when she stepped in, how, you know, she's talking and she's like, you know, this is a tournament with, you know, multiple enemies. Being the strongest person on the board isn't the way to fight. And when she says that to Goku, you know, an alarm kind of goes off in his head, and he basically says, like, wow, I can't believe I almost entered this tournament with the mindset of I'm just going to be the most powerful guy there and kick everyone's ass. Like, it really has to be a coordinated team effort. And he even says to Gohan, he's like, you need to learn, too, from Krillin and 18. We got to strategize a lot more. But, I mean, that was the whole reason why they were there anyways, is Gohan is trying to come up with a strategy, and that's why he wanted to see what Krillin could do. But back to the fight real quick. Krillin and his Destructo Disc, I think that's one of my favorite moves out of all the characters, is the Destructo Disc, and when Krillin does it. And it was really cool to see him controlling it and moving it around and controlling more than one at once. And then he did the secret fourth Destructo Disc that cut a hole under Goku, basically just trying to be as sneaky as possible to ring out Goku to win the match, you know. And it was funny to see Marin like cheering Krillin on, and I'm sure, you know, he's always been an emotional guy. Obviously, we saw that when he fell in love with 18. But, you know, being a dad, and I feel like him really wanting to impress his daughter has been a really big motivating factor for him, and that's why her, like, cheering him on got him so pumped up throughout the whole thing, you know? So there was a lot of really, really cool things to take away from this episode. Like I said, I think people kind of missed out on the point that Krillin is really being super strategic and really, you know, homing in his skills. And, you know, 18 basically alluded to the fact that Krillin shouldn't show everything just yet. And I'm really excited to see what else he's going to bring to the table. And I also thought it was funny when Goku was recruiting 18 and he's like, oh, we'll give you 10 million Zenny each. And I was surprised that 18, you know, didn't come back and say, well, we better get 20 million because that's 10 for Krillin and 10 for me. I was half expecting her to say that, but she didn't. And then when they're fighting, Goku's like, oh, he must really want that 100 million Zenny. She's like, why did you add a zero? You know, and he's like, oh, I don't know, I didn't say anything. It was quite hilarious, but, you know, it was a really good episode, and I'm excited to see how 17 is going to play into all of this. And I like how they kind of alluded to the fact where she's like, oh, you know, the last time I talked to him on the phone, he was working as a ranger at a park. Like they talk on the phone a lot or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? I thought that was kind of funny. But, you know, how are they going to find him? I'm sure Dende will be able to find him, no problem. If Dende's the guardian of the Earth and hasn't been keeping tabs on 17, then, you know, he makes him to be a pretty poor guardian, because at the end of the day, he still has a lot of power and could be a threat, you know? So I'm sure Dende knows exactly where he is. But the team is coming together. I can't wait to see them start to recruit like Master Roshi and see what if he's even been training, maybe anticipating getting, you know, recruited. Tien, all the other characters. It's gonna be friggin' awesome. It's gonna be a smash fest. Oh, and I do want to say one more thing. So obviously they showed, I always mix up the universes, like what they are, but like Toppo's universe obviously has, you know, that whole Pride Warriors, whatever the hell they're called. Excuse me for forgetting. I'm kind of bad with names. But we start to see, like in the outro now, the new outro of Dragon Ball Super was really cool. And you're seeing there's like a dude who looks like Lord Beerus. In the last episode, we saw a quick flash, and obviously the female Broly is a part of that league as well, and we start to see some of the other characters that are going to be introduced a bit later on throughout the series, and that's what I like about the outros. Whenever there's a new outro, I always watch it at least twice to try to pick out like what I can see, and then the next episode, we're finally going to see like in-shape Boo, which I'm really excited about because I like Boo as a character. I like that he's kind of silly and kind of fat, but I also, you know, I really liked it when he was Super Boo, and he was like super badass, and he could actually talk, and he was he was an amazing strategist as well. Like, to be able to absorb everyone, he had to like send out his little blobs of himself, and he was able to sneak up on people and do all kinds of stuff. So who knows, maybe like, you know, him training and getting serious is gonna bring out some of those aspects, and he's gonna, when he fights with Goku, as we're gonna see, obviously, we might start to see some of that old Super Boo kind of mentality. I don't know, I'm excited, but hope you guys enjoyed the review. Be sure to leave those comments down in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, more good stuff coming soon. See you guys.